We're cooking it up.
Making that raw sushi.
Let's go. Keeping it raw. Pause.
I'm so excited about my music every time I put it out. People are more focused on numbers than they are on creativity. I went through a lot of bullying when I was young. A lot of kids used to bully me for my eyes and how I look. I just don't understand how I never had any of this traction happen. And my mom would say, yo, the fact that they're talking about it, you onto something.
Collaborations with Disney Plus, Cartoon, over 10 million streams on all music platforms.
A lot of people just put out songs without really taking time into creating the music. And then it started getting a whole lot of numbers. And
Hitting over 1 million streams on Spotify and YouTube views.
if you enjoy faith, you have nothing to lose.
Hey, welcome to the latest episode of the C.Cast. It's an absolute pleasure having you here today. Before we get into the next guest, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of what this podcast is about. We are about connecting creativity and technology to uplift the African continent and connect the world to Africa. What we do is we chat to members of our communities. We give them a platform to share their story and to share how they are connecting Africa to the digital economy and the world to Africa. So before we get into this next guest, if you like our content, I just want to remind you to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below about what you think about the conversation. If you want to get more involved in the community, you can also join the WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code. In this group, we'll be able to share opportunities, knowledge with you, and you'll be able to meet other like-minded people of the community. So yeah, we hope to see you in the group soon. Until then, let's get into the episode.
We're speaking with someone who's got real skin in the game. And yeah, as we do on this podcast, we really want to dive into your beginnings. Where did it start? And I did a little bit of research and I saw that it all started with a balcony.
Yeah.
Tell us about this balcony.
Guys, so I just realized a lot of I would say in the piano space, especially with producers, I just realized the way people were promoting their music was just so, I wouldn't say mediocre, but it wasn't exciting. You know what I mean? And not to now, speak bad on other producers, but I was just I'm so excited about my music every time I put it out. And I just stumbled across it. I was at home and I told my brother, I was like, yo, what if we actually, when we put out the music, we put out these snippets of us vibing on the balcony, and it became a thing. And I realized, okay, at this angle, it works like this, at this, okay, these hashtags, whatever, boom, boom, boom. And then it started getting a whole lot of numbers. And we're like, oh, this is actually where, this is it.
So, but even before the balcony,
Yeah.
it goes way back
Bro?
to rapping days.
Yeah, bro, still got bars.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, again, I feel like music has always been something that just pumps through my veins. I started rapping when I was 12, bro.
Yeah.
So you could imagine, I'm 25, 26. I just turned 26 on Monday, but
Oh, happy birthday.
happy belated, thank you.
Let's
thank
go.
you, Thank you, thank you. But it's just, I've always been just a creative psychopath. I'll call myself a creative psychopath. You could never box me. You could never put me in one situation he's a rapper, whatever. I even started singing a little bit. I started doing a little bit of R&B just before getting into piano. But once I got into piano, all this production, I started producing when I was 14. So this is 12 years in. And then it just, I don't know, it was just so easy. It was just so natural. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan of pianos also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you say it started 12 years in, the blow up. It took 12 years of investment to get to that point.
100%.
And it's crazy to think about that because a lot of the time people think, oh no, overnight sensation.
Nah.
But it's guys, is it really overnight?
It isn't.
Because you're talking about beginning when you were 12.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if we were to go back to those tracks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tell us about those tracks.
Embarrassing.
You see, so it takes a long time to actually get that overnight sensation.
Yeah.
And I always like to think of it in terms of, I mean, I think it applies in the music space, but it also applies in the business world, because people always want someone to invest in them. They want someone to give them attention or give them an opportunity, not realizing that you have to put in the work before that.
Facts.
The investment or the opportunity is just a way to amplify what you have already built up within you. It's a way to distribute it to more people and make more people aware.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that source, if you don't have that core of what you're doing, if whether it be like talent or whether it be a business idea or actually implementing that business idea, if you haven't started doing it, the opportunities, it can actually have a negative effect. Because if now, let's say 12-year-old you now got approached by some like label or something, and now they're distributing this like questionable music to like, I'm pretty sure that music lives somewhere deep down, dark in the internet.
Yeah, like I won't even lie to you, I'm grateful. When I look back, I'm grateful none of those songs blew up. And this is like 200 songs plus that never blew up. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro.
Because if it had blown up, I feel like I would have gotten to a place of comfort and I wouldn't have grown musically, because I would think this is the element, the method, and what I was saying when I was 12 years old, bro. Do you remember what you were talking about when you were 12? Like,
bro,
exactly.
People will be out here to cancel you one time.
So it's like, yo, I'm grateful it took so long, because by the time I got there, it was like second nature. It was so easy. It was absolutely easy. It's almost like I already breathe this. I eat it. This is it. Literally. You feel what I'm saying? So like, again, and I always tell people, like, the best thing is when it doesn't happen and when you don't have those followers and when you don't have that attention, because when you don't have that, you could be such a free artist posting 10 times a day on TikTok. Nobody cares. But that's the beauty of it. Nobody cares. So you could actually do it like however you want it. You could post as many times as you want. When now you're a brand, when now you're a business, it's a little tricky. You got to be very calculated. It almost feels like sometimes people have a magnifying glass like over you, just like watching your every move. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise, really.
Yeah, and it works both ways. It's always a double-edged sword, right? Yeah. It's like the blessing back then is you have more freedom to create and experiment and fall and fail. Yeah. But then the bigger you get, the more pressure there is. You know, if you're gonna, I mean, I don't know how it is for you. Maybe we can touch on this a little bit later in the conversation, but dropping songs now, I'm sure feels a lot different to dropping a song back then.
100%.
So I'm very curious for us to like get into that chat. But before we do that, I want us to explore a little bit more of that source or that core of what you do. And I want to find out a little bit more about 12-year-old Sushi. Like, what inspires 12-year-old Sushi to start creating? I know there's a lot of influence from your parents, a lot of different genres that were in the mix back then that, you know, kind of influenced your style today. So tell us more a little bit about that. Like, what inspired 12-year-old Sushi to create?
So, like, this is like what? I'm 12 years old, big fan of 50 Cent, Eminem, Lil Wayne. Once I picked up rap music, I actually started in poetry. Because I realized that I gotta be saying some real smart stuff. Can I cuss?
Yeah. Okay. Do your thing.
It just doesn't feel natural now when I'm talking about my rap and I'm like just trying to keep
the kids. Protect the kids.
Nah, shut up. But anyway, you know, it's just like, bro, when I was 12 years old, I was making love songs. I went through a lot of bullying when I was young. Particularly like when I was young, a lot of kids used to bully me for my eyes and how I looked. And, you know, I never found a good reason for me to, I never thought it was a good thing for me to now put back that bullying, or rather feed into that energy and now punch someone at school and then get expelled. And now your life is just screwed up. Now your parents are like, bro, you shouldn't have done that, whatever. I just thought it was an escape. I felt like it was an escape from my reality at the time to just lock in and express how I feel.
For sure.
You know, and that's how it started, really. That's how it started. You know, I was also a big fan of Nas. That's how I got into like really understanding poetry and understanding how to write raps. And the way words rhyme and, you know, your intricate flows. That's how I got into it. By the time I was like 14 years old, I've been rapping for 2 years now, and I would rap like every day. So now I was like, you know what? I gotta know how to make beats, because this thing of like going on YouTube and finding type beats, and then they tell you it's 5K of beats or whatever. I'm like, what? I'm gonna do it myself. This is crazy. So that's when I got into it by 14. Then I started to learn how to mix and master. By the time I was like 16, 17, I was making songs. Like I was making like solid songs, projects. Yeah, it just went up. It just went up creatively, you know, so.
Bro, it's so crazy when I hear the stories of guests on this show, because there's so many similarities in the stories of those that are actually doing stuff and making a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And the common thread that I can pick up in what you're saying is, number one, your, like, whatever's holding you back is actually low-key your superpower. So like sometimes we for example, you mentioned two things. The one was your, like, the bullying, right? There's two things you can do to respond to that, like you said. You can fight the person and then now get suspended or whatever it is, and, you know, get a black eye or whatever. Or you can take that energy and invest it into something else as an escape. So what actually was the thing holding you back landed up turning into a blessing in a way, because it gave you it pushed you towards making music and expressing yourself and, you know, those difficult things that you were going through. Then the second thing that you mentioned was another hurdle, getting beats. What 12-year-old, 14-year-old has 5K sitting in the bank?
Bro, I just didn't understand. And the thing is, like, it would be the same people that are trying to come up. Like, you'll find producers at the time, it was SoundCloud when I was like 14, 15. And they're also coming up and they're like, yo, 20K. I'm like, bro, I'm 14. Like, you think I'm rolling with 20K? Like, nah, bro. Like, we're in this together. Time the guy has like 1,000 followers. So it's like, okay, screw you. I'm gonna just go try and figure it out on my own. Download Fruity Loops and just figure it out, I guess, you know? So, and my beats were horrible. Oh my God. They were so bad, but at the time, it's crazy because everything I thought I made was the best thing ever. It's like, this is insane. Like, this is the best beat ever. And I'll be so gassed, put it up on YouTube or on SoundCloud, get like 50 plays. But I was like, nah, this is ill. Like, nobody can touch me. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Listening back to it is like, ugh.
But I must say, like, it's 50 plays doesn't sound like a lot. But if you put 50 people in a room,
that's
like,
a lot.
That's quite a few people. You know? Like, and I think people underestimate that because they're always comparing. Like, they'll see Sushi B come up now on this podcast talking about like millions of streams, you know, doing these amazing things. And then people want to compare their 12-year-old version of themselves where they are now to Sushi at 26, like 14 years later. Like, you can't make that comparison. It's not a fair comparison to make.
You can't. And you know what, like, I always say to people, like, again, you cannot be discouraged by just numbers, bro. Like, but when you're hitting 10 plays, 20 plays, 30 plays, whatever it is, be grateful. Be grateful for that moment, because that's the time when you can put out as much shit as you have or what you have within you. Just put it out, because the minute it lands and the minute you get 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a mil, 2 mil, bro, you're now a brand. You gotta move different. You cannot be posting, like, bro, I was dropping songs every week at some point. I think I was like 21, 22. I was like, screw it. Let me drop songs every week. I did it for like 26, 27 weeks. That's like 6 months of just dropping. But I had to do that. And I'm seeing back now, like, yo, if I didn't do that, I don't think I would have the production, like what my sound, how it sounds now. I wouldn't have that amount of practice of getting it out of my system, because you gotta get it out of your system. You can't just keep it in the vault. Like, you gotta get it out of your system so that you look at it like, okay, I gotta make something different now because it's already out. So once I got into that method, it was like, look, I wasn't caught up on the numbers, because I realized that, you know what? all this works someday. It's gotta work someday. If I keep showing up, it's gonna eventually work. It's not like something is like there's a like you've been hexed. Like that's it. This is it. Nah, it's like nah. Like you gotta really put yourself out there continuously, like consistently. So
how would
Yeah.
you like how I think now is a great time to get into that question of, dropping when you were 12 compared to dropping now. What is the difference?
I mean, bro, we got the algorithms. We got, bro, it's so complicated right now. Like it's absolutely bonkers. It's a bit different than what it was back then. I feel now, you gotta be. I guess with TikTok around, because TikTok is a mad tool that a lot of people always sleep on, and because TikTok is like TV for us, bro. Like everyone's on TikTok. Your uncle's on TikTok. So you're telling me you're not gonna be on like, come on, put your pride aside, just be on TikTok, put out some music. But back then, what I had was SoundCloud. I had a Facebook account, super cringe. I hope people don't find that Facebook account.
Someone out there is gonna watch this.
Hey, somebody's gonna be like,
Put up the
we're
archives.
gonna have to find this nigga. Like, yo, nah. So, but if they find it, whatever, it's cool. But I have Facebook. I was barely on Twitter. There was no Instagram. Like, Instagram came out in 2010, but nobody was using Instagram. Like, I think we started using Instagram when I was like in grade 10. So I was in grade 10 in 2014.
Yeah.
That's when we started to really kind of get into Instagram. But it was hard. Like, it wasn't, as much as there's algorithms and all these things to kind of figure out now, but back then it wasn't as easy. Because not everyone was on SoundCloud. Not, your link on Facebook doesn't blow up overnight. Like, and you have 20 friends or followers or whatever the case was. It was hard. It was quite difficult. So there's a good and a bad to it.
Yeah.
I feel like the bad is that people are more focused on numbers than they are on creativity. And, I remember this one interview, Beyonce was saying like, a lot of people just put out songs and just fine, they get this amount of streams, they put out the next one, without really taking time into creating the music and putting out a body of work. Back then, like putting out an album or a mixtape or whatever that was, that like you had the time to do that and you had the freedom, because now, if you do that and you're away from TikTok and Instagram, then the next time you post, it's a bit slower. You don't get the same numbers you would get if you're doing it every week. So it takes away the creativity. It takes away the just the depth of music. Now, a lot of music sounds a bit mediocre. It doesn't sound like it's well thought of because of that limitation, because of like, yo, I gotta put out the next song because my followers are watching and boom, 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 and the algorithms and all of that. So it's a bit tricky.
I always wonder if the algorithm controls us. Not just like in the music space, but content creation in general, because we're kind of incentivized to create a specific kind of content on a specific platform.
Yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes the algorithm is in control of like, I don't know if you want to speak on yourself or on like the music industry as a whole, but like, do you think there's kind of like a influence there when it comes to people's creativity and the work they put out?
I think it boxes us. It boxes us. Like from even the matters of not just from music, the music side of things, but the way we put out our content. Like we gotta make sure that the tripod has to be standing like that, and like this, it's gotta be this particular background because this is what people know, and the algorithm can pick it up, and it limits the way you portray yourself. Like I feel now, because I'm also kind of tapping away from the balcony, like I'm more than just the guy that goes on the balcony. But because people know me for the balcony, I can't do nothing else. I won't lie to you, like I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what's after the balcony?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be sitting like in my apartment and it would just be like the couch one side, the fridge, whatever. Like, I bet, let's try and make a video like this. It wouldn't obviously get the same numbers as the balcony. Some videos would.
Mad, are you
because,
serious?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's, yeah.
Wait, so what is it about the balcony?
I don't know, bro. There's like some sort of blessing there. I feel like there's
holy ground.
There's holy grounds there. I mean, look, but that's the beauty of this journey, is that you can't get comfortable in one space. Even when the algorithm is like, nah, you gotta do that. Because that's what got you those million streams. That's what blew you up on TikTok, on Instagram, boom, boom, boom. That's what did that. But it's like, nah, you cannot just stay there and just think that this is just, it's gonna work like that. Nah.
So, like, let's say hypothetically, you just kept posting like the balcony over and over again.
Yeah.
Do you think it would like keep getting the same traction, or?
Algorithmically, if that's a word, yes. However, my fans will get bored of it.
Yeah.
You can't compare real human interaction with what we see on social media as compared to what the algorithm wants us to see, wants to push, wants to put out into the world, because it worked. You feel what I'm saying? Like, at some point, bro, like, I remember one person like on Instagram was like, yo, but like, it's getting a bit redundant. What's up? Like, I get it. We get it now. The little dance on the balcony, we get it.
Yeah.
But like, what happens?
It's an interesting chat, because from my perspective, I mean, I'm not in the music industry per se.
Yeah.
But what I have seen is that TikTok is a great way to get discovered.
Yes.
And then once you get that discovery, you have to evolve.
Yeah.
Like, so I think there's like different steps that I feel like we're kind of putting together here, right? The first one is mastering your craft.
Yes.
Right? And to master your craft, you have to start.
Yeah.
And you're going to make crap. Like,
here's the thing. People like don't understand, like, you gotta get it out of your system. You gotta put it out. It don't matter who clowns you. Yeah. And a lot of people, when they listen back to my old songs, they're like, yo, but this is actually kind of hard. Obviously, I'm like, nah, that was ass. I won't lie to you. Like, that was ass. I was like 15 when I made that song.
Yeah.
Whatever. But you gotta put it out. Sorry to cut you off, but like, gotta put it out.
You're right. Yeah. Like, I'm glad that you're emphasizing that, because a lot of people get stuck there. And it's that comparison thing of like comparing the person who's 14 years into their journey compared to the person who's starting today. You can't make that comparison. You have to give yourself a sense of grace.
Yeah.
To fail.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are scared of failure.
Yeah.
Like, that thing of failure is scary, because, and especially on such a public platform as well. That's what makes it scary, right?
Yeah.
But the way I view it is like, you have to put it out there in order to get information back, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll never know what works and what doesn't work unless you actually like put it out there for people to react to and respond to.
Yeah.
If your goal is to reach an audience, you have to put stuff out to see what resonates with the audience and what doesn't. Yeah. And like you said, if you do that consistently for 6 months every week, you're going to get a lot of information. You're going to learn a lot of things, because you're going to see how people are responding to that.
Yeah.
And then when you feed that back into the system, you're going to refine it over time and become more and more refined.
100%.
Through that process, you master your craft and you get to the point where you actually make something that people resonate with.
Yeah.
Then the next step is then now, okay, you've got something that people resonate with. Now it's a matter of like, how do I get this to as many people as possible, because I know that this resonates with people. And like, you'll know when you see how people respond.
Like you'll just, and it's crazy how it happened as well. I'm gonna talk about failure and how important failure is, but you'll like, it's crazy because when the first song I put up blew up, like proper blew up, not like 5,000 streams blew up, like 100K, 200K, 2 mil, 170 land. When I put up the video on TikTok, so what I do sometimes, if I make a song, and you know, when I say I'm a creative psychopath, I'll make a song today, right? But the song's never completed. It's never finished. But somehow I just felt different about 70 Land, and I was like, you know what, I gotta put this one out now before I spend the next 7 months working on the way that violin sounded and keep tweaking and turning things around and flipping here and making sure it hits harder here. It's never finished.
Dude.
So I was like, you know what, let me just put it out. You know what I mean? So I scheduled it to drop about 5 days after I had finished it, right? So this is like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think Tuesday or Wednesday it came out. When it came out, I was just scrolling on my Spotify. I was like, you know what? Let me look at my catalog. I always do that. I'm always proud of my catalog. Like, yo, it's 10 albums, 50 songs here that are just like golden. So I'm looking and I'm seeing 70 Land pops up as the latest release by midnight. I'm like, oh shit. I forgot that I put it out.
Yeah.
So I had a video of the balcony at the same, like on the same night. Like, oh yeah, I remember shooting the video on the same day I finished the song. So I'm now editing the video. I put it up. I use the hashtags. I was using hashtag FYP summer, hashtag summer 28, hashtag Amapiano. And then I say 70 Land Amapiano as like the writing on top. And I go to sleep. It's like 2 a.m. I go to sleep. I wake up. Obviously, my day is still the same. I wake up. I go on my phone. My phone died because I passed out, so I put on the charger. I go on my phone. I look at my TikTok. I was using a Huawei at the time. I'm seeing a plus 99 on my TikTok. I'm like, hold on. I've never seen that number.
Something's
before.
going in here.
You know what I mean? I was like, I've never seen that number before. Anyway, whatever, let's open it. I open it, I'm seeing plus 300 followers, 500 followers following me. I reload the page. I'm tweaking. I'm thinking, nah, this ain't it. This is, I don't know. Someone got into my phone, I don't know. I reload the page. I'm seeing over 1,000 notifications.
Mad.
I go onto my page. That before I dropped 70 Land, I had like 900 followers. For perspective, when 70 Land dropped, I had like, and I was on like 800, 900 for a while, like probably like a month, 2.5 months. I reload, it's on 5K followers.
Mad.
7K. I'm reloading, it's like 7.5. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just switch off my
What's
phone.
going through your mind at that point?
I'm like, I don't want to do anything. It seems like, this is how I take it. I'm like, because I didn't care, I just put it out. I felt like the universe thought, you know what, this is the time to give it to him because he's no longer putting something out for the instant gratification. He just put it out blind, like he didn't care. So that's when I thought it worked. Like, oh snap, I figured it out. I just need to now not care. I just need to put it out, move on, think it's another day. And I don't know. I don't know. That's my method. Like a lot of people, obviously, they anticipate it because they're like, that's the one. Like, you know, you always hear interviews like, you know what? When I put out this album, I knew that was the one. The song was, bro, I had no idea. Like a lot of also people say that, but I literally had no idea because when I put out that song, I put it out forgetting that it was gonna be released. I just had the video in the vault.
There wasn't a master plan.
Bro, like it wasn't like, like I forgot that the song was gonna drop. I wasn't even enthusiastic about it. I was just like, whatever. And because of that, and because I just didn't care about it, I felt like it was some sort of like gift to me. Like, you know what? He has let go of wanting the numbers, of wanting the fame, of wanting it to work. He's just doing it for fun that he even forgot he made this song. Let's give it to him. That's how I see it.
It's an interesting duality because, I mean, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Yeah.
Did you have a sense that you would eventually make it though?
Yes, but a lot of times you feel like it's never gonna happen. because a lot of people, when people see it, right, they see I started a couple months ago and then I blew up. This is 12 years, 13 years. In fact, when I blew up, it was 12 years. I started rapping and started making music when I was 12. I blew up when I'm 24. So along that line, bro, it gets a little tricky. It gets like, yo, you sitting by 21 and you like, is this thing gonna happen? Like, yo, where's that? Like, what's actually going?
Up degrees to study.
Bro, like, at some point I was like, all right, J. Cole got signed by like 25, 26. Rock Nation, cool. I got some time. But it's like, nah, but Jake, I saw when I was 12 though. So you start comparing and you start being like, man, like, is this gonna happen? You lose hope. A lot of times I lost hope. At some point I gave up. I think in 2018, I think I was like 20, 19, 20. I gave up and I got a job. I got a regular job. I was a salesman and, you know, till somebody walked in and they were like, yo, man, like, what are you doing here? And mind you, he was my customer at the time.
Mad.
So he comes, he's like, bro, what are you doing here? He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know Sushi B, because Sushi B is getting 100 plays for his songs that he's dropping, 50 plays, 100 plays, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. This guy's like, yo, what are you doing here? Like, what are you actually? I'm like, I'm working. Like, yeah, but what are you doing here? You're young. Look at the people you're around. These guys are 40 years old. They've given up on life.
Man.
What are you?
Hey, hold on. I just need to remind you very quickly to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below about what you think about this episode. We need to be able to tell the algorithm on YouTube that we are creating content that is valuable. So please engage with this content, whether you're listening to it on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever platform, please engage. It just helps us reach more people, brings more people into the community, which means more access to knowledge and opportunities for you, a member of the community. So please don't forget to engage on this video or this audio podcast and leave a like, comment, or subscribe and give it a share. Thank you so much. We'll hop back into the episode.
What are you doing here? You look like you just got out of high school. I'm like, yeah, literally. Like, but what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm just trying to, I don't know, but what do you want to do in life? And bro, I've been trying this music thing out. Like, I just don't, you know, let me get a job, whatever. By 2020, it's so crazy. When COVID hit, that was the moment where it put a pause onto everybody and everybody was inside. That was the best time for me to create because I didn't feel like I had to be outside working. Everything's closed. Everything's shut down. That was when I really tapped in, and I always had that thing at the back of my mind, like, yo, what was I doing actually? But then it's like, what do I want to do? I just gotta go so hard at what I want to do, no matter how stupid it looks, no matter how crazy it looks, no matter how crazy it sounded. Because my parents, bro, like you're 12 and then you reach 21. You reach 21. They're gonna be asking you, like, bro, like, what are you? Like, okay, when is it gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not saying you gotta blow up now, but it's been like 9, 10 years, bro. You still sitting up in your room. Like, what's up? School? What? University? A job? What are you gonna do? So it gets hard.
Yeah,
it gets really, really difficult. You just gotta keep going. You just gotta you gotta be so delusional that it's gonna happen tomorrow. It may not happen tomorrow, but you shouldn't lose that enthusiasm. And now this is why I'm tying it up to failure. You gotta enjoy failing. Like, you gotta love it. I don't know, it sounds wild to the average person, but you gotta love
Hey man,
failing.
you said Delulu's the Sululu. So.
Bro, I'm telling you, like I'm telling you, because if you enjoy failing, you have nothing to lose by putting out that lousy song of yours. It may be lousy to everybody else, but someone's watching. Someone's actually like somebody's actually watching your every move. And as crazy as it sounds, there's always going to be that one person within the crowd that's like, hey, hold on here. He's onto something. When that one person becomes 10 people, when 10 people become 20, 25, 30, 100, by the next time you put out that next song, 2 weeks, a week later, then it's like, it starts to pick up. But you can't put a time frame and a number or a number of years or months as to how long it'll take for you to get there. It could be 10 years, but you should never quit. Never quit, because you should always, you should enjoy failing to the point that you get lost. You get lost, bro. Sometimes, I would just be creating. I wouldn't know what time it is. I'll be wake up at 6 a.m. I'm creating. It's 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I take a nap. It's 9 p.m. And I'm just back at it. I'll get so lost in the days. I don't care who's doing what, who's where. You get so lost because if I could just continue putting it out, something's gonna stick on that wall. Something. I don't care who's saying what, but something is gonna stick. You gotta enjoy failing to the point that you don't care who says what. You just go. You just keep at it.
Mad, bro. I don't know who that guy was that came into that store, but we need to get him
Bro,
on the podcast because what?
I swear, he's gotta tell his story too, because he saw me when I was vulnerable, fragile, and I was like, man, I'm tired of getting 100 plays. This isn't working, whatever. And also, I had a subscription to my DistroKid that, every year I'll pay about $600, whatever. I was making cents. I was making 20 cents, 30 cents. I remember making $1, $2. I was like, yeah. Then it got to 10. Yeah, I was lit. I was like, what? I mean, $2?
But you gotta celebrate those milestones.
Bro,
even though it might not seem like a lot.
That's what I'm telling you.
Steps towards where you wanna go.
Bro, by the time I got $10, I remember withdrawing. I was so gassed. I bought myself a milkshake at McD's. No, a McFlurry, my bad. A McFlurry, fries, chicken nuggets.
Let's go. I made this.
This is my bread.
But you gotta, bro. You gotta celebrate every little step. I would go so far as to say that I was actually speaking to my aunt about it because she did some crazy things in her career. She's more in the pharmaceutical space, but she managed to build a team for this big pharmaceutical company, blah, blah, blah. And I sat down with her and I was like, how did you do that? And she's like, one of the key things that she mentioned a few things, but the two things that stood out to me the most were follow your gut. Yeah. Which you kind of touched on when you said you felt like you needed to just release this thing now. And rather instead of getting stuck in that analysis paralysis situation. Yeah. So follow your gut was the one thing that she said. Then the second thing that she said is celebrate every failure. When something doesn't go wrong, when something doesn't go right and goes wrong, we tend to kind of withdraw and stop. Yeah. We don't want to continue because it's painful. She said the trick to overcoming that is celebrating the failure, turning it into a positive experience. Yeah. So some people out there are putting out music, getting cents on their DistroKid, $2. Yeah. And what they're doing is they're saying, what am I doing here?
It's not gonna work.
I'm wasting my time. It's not gonna work. Whereas what you did is you said, I got $2, $10. I'm going to go and live my life with this $10 and get a McFlurry.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Some nuggies, bro. Yeah. And that's you just see the difference in mentality because when you view it from that positive perspective, when you start to view things from all of these difficult things that are in front of me right now, are opportunities rather than things that are holding me back, then it gives you that motivation to actually do what you want to do. It attunes your mind to thinking about what do I want? Yeah. You're not focused on survival, you're focused on thriving. Yes. And if you can attune your mind to that and do it on a consistent basis, regularly, it's just a matter of time. And you never know what's going to be that thing that makes it snap. Yeah. But it's just a matter of time until you get there.
And you shouldn't attach yourself to, us creatives, we have that moments where yo, this is my baby. This is the one that I feel it's going to blow up. No, let it go. It could be the most ridiculous song that blows up. Let go of the fact that you think that you never know. That's the beauty of this space. You never know which one's gonna pop off, when it's gonna pop off, what's gonna pop off. Yeah. It could be a song for me, it could be an album for you, it could be a mixtape, it could be an EP. You just never know. So the beautiful thing about it is that you cannot you got to just keep doing what you do and detach yourself from the product, from the song, the EP, the album. Once you put it on your distro kit or whatever, let it go. Go catch some fresh air, spend some time with family. When the day of when it comes out, obviously do your promo, do what you want to do, what you got to do in terms of marketing it, but let it go. It's never going to be the song you want it to be. You just got to let it go, bro. You the minute it says it's going to be released on the 27th of August, let it go. The minute it's up there, let it go. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right now, you just gotta obviously just create more, distract yourself from that release. Get it out of your mind. It's out. It's done. It's done. You did all you can. Now, let the universe do its work. With that belief of you just having it up there, with that belief that you had the guts, the balls, because there's a lot of people right now sitting on 100 songs on their laptop, but they're so scared to put it up because they think people are gonna laugh at them. People are gonna, look at them different because they think, okay, this nigga's whack, whatever. And it's nah, the fact that you have the balls to put it up, it's telling me, bro. That I will always respect creatives for putting up music in this time, no matter how, even when people grill them or whatever, because I went through that too. When I was putting out music and I started putting out my music on Twitter, bro, I got grilled. I got cooked. I won't lie to you. At some point, it got so bad, it almost got a little bit, I got afraid of my own livelihood. I thought people are out to get me.
Holy crap, bro.
Yeah. There were people sending me I would say death threats almost.
Oh my, over dropping songs.
Over dropping music. Now,
bro, this is also why I always tell people when it comes to Twitter, just say what you think, because it doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be someone out there who disagrees and wants to come at you. Let me give you an example, right?
Yeah.
I was putting out this content this last week about this Miss South Africa situation, right? Yeah. So it's a controversial topic, don't get me wrong. But I put out a comment about it, and then now I have Nigerian Twitter coming at me, telling me that nah, you're white. You can't talk about anything African. I'm guys, I was born in South Africa. I am South African.
Yeah.
But now, basically what they were saying is, nah, you're white. You can't have an opinion on this. Fast forward a week down the line, I see a guy in the UK, a white guy in the UK,
right,
basically saying, why are white South Africans talking about European politics? So I'm okay, so I'm not allowed to talk about African politics. I'm not allowed to talk about European politics. So does that mean I'm just not allowed to talk about politics now?
Wow.
And the point of what I'm saying this is that no matter what you say or what opinion you have,
cook you,
someone is always going to disagree or come at you.
Exactly. And now when we translate that into the creative space, no matter if you change your melody of the song, you do this, you do, bro, people are going to talk. People are always going to have something against your craft. Because I also feel your opinion is a craft in of its own. That's what you see. That's your opinion. It's what you feel.
It's an expression.
It's
and that's feeling. Music as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's bro, let it go. And the weird thing, rather, when I was getting cooked, I was man, do y'all even know when I was cooking up all of this R&B shit, this hip hop shit? Now y'all are cooking me. I'm what?
You don't know my story.
Bro, I was okay, I get it. Look, I get it. You guys have your opinions and you are entitled to your opinion. I just don't understand how I never had any of this traction happen. And my mom would say, yo, the fact that they're talking about it,
that's the trick.
You onto something.
That's the trick.
That's the thing. A lot of people think when they get cooked, it's oh, I'll never make it. It's chai. It'll never happen. What? It's nah, the fact that it landed to these people and they're having a conversation about it, it may not be the most comfortable moments for you. But hey, Like I remember, I don't know if I could mention his name, Zeus Omega.
Oh damn, okay, you know.
He hit me up. He's like, bro, for perspective, 1 million streams. He just DM'd me on Twitter when I was getting cooked like proper for the first time. He's like, yo, man, I see what you're doing. But for perspective, 1 million streams on Apple Music is such and such amount of money.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah.
Basically, just go.
Yeah, do your
Because
thing,
it's
man.
working.
Keep cooking.
Just keep cooking.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then I started to notice while I was getting cooked, and it would get to the people that love it. It got to my people.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell my haters and like people that cook me, like, yo, thank you, bro. Like, okay, not all of them, but like some of them I'll like DM them like, yo, thank you. Like you actually
that
made
them
me
mad, bro.
Hey, bro, like sometimes like, bro, like you and you'll get so caught up emotionally. You're so invested into what a nobody is saying. And it's like, bro, let that shit go. Let it go.
It's so true what you're saying, because like that example that I gave, right? Yes, there were people sending death threats, people trying to cook, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you see the amounts of engagements it's getting. Majority of people that agree with what you're saying are not gonna comment that they agree. They're gonna share it, or they're gonna come, or they're gonna like it.
So real, yeah.
So it creates the situation where there's like it's not proportionate in terms of the hate versus the love.
Actually.
The love is not as noticeable because when people agree, they're not gonna go and comment, oh, I love this.
Yeah, 100%.
But when people have a negative emotion, they're gonna be motivated to come into your DMs, to comment and retweet or whatever,
so
and say
true.
some nonsense.
Because I won't lie to you, bro. Like when the right song came, Shakespeare, I mean, that was just a taste of what could happen.
Yeah.
It was 70 Land, Sunday service was the big one that really kind of opened people's eyes and be like, yo, this guy's insane. When Shakespeare came, bro, people would DM me and they would be like, I was always watching when they were hating on you.
Yeah.
I just kept quiet and whatever. But I would always be like, man, like, why did you like stand up for me? But they couldn't because they would look like the idiot.
But
or they would look, they
putting
felt
themselves
like
in the crossfire.
100%. They'll be like, yo, if I say something about this guy and he's getting cooked, and it's a trend for him to get cooked, because every time I put out music, it was a trend. Like people would always try to say it was like whoever says the nastiest thing to him gets the most amount of likes, gets the most amount of reposts and followers and whatever. And I was like, yo, y'all are crazy,
bro.
Like this place is not
y'all are
real.
twerking out here for likes.
Mind you, it's so crazy, right? What I love about this journey is that when I was getting cooked on Twitter, bro, my followers were packing on TikTok, were packing on Instagram. Everybody was like, yo, that's my guy.
I'm willing to bet that they were packing on Twitter as well. Like, because the thing is, like, this tweet, like, it got a lot of hate, but our following grew. More people being exposed to the podcast. People always say, like, don't say that, you're going to get cancelled. And I'm like, bring it. Like, let's get cancelled here because let's talk about Daniel Caesar.
Bro, let's talk about Mac G, guys.
Mac G.
I was like, God, that's the most. Like, I always want to just say, like, bro, like, you're like a legend because you have succumbed what a lot of people are afraid of. You have overcome that. You've put yourself in a situation where you don't give a flying. You would just say what you say, knowing the amount of views you would get, knowing the amount of hate you would get. Everybody is on Twitter, bro. People see when it just says Mac G on top there, he just released another episode saying the most craziest thing ever. But the love I have for him is that, yo, he's like that one kid in the classroom that is going to say the wildest thing and everybody will boo him and throw paper at him and whatever. But it's the fact that he did that.
It's not even that. It's the fact that everyone listens.
Oof, that's hard.
Everyone will listen, no matter what it is that he's saying.
Yeah.
People live in. And we live in an attention-driven economy.
100%.
So the amount of attention you can bring to what it is that you're doing the more economic value you can extract from that. That's the reality of the economy that we live in.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to bring you on these chats, because like I want us to talk about this attention that you've been able to get. I want to inspire people to see how that works.
Yeah.
To be able to take some of the lessons from your story and apply it to their lives. Because if we can do that on a continental level, that elevates our continent.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things, one of the greatest assets we have in Africa is our culture. So let's put that around. Let's make it more accessible. That's what I love about what you're doing, because you're making Amapiano more accessible to other markets, whether it be a Mexican market, an Italian market, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're taking something that's purely African and adding a different flair to it.
Yeah.
And people do this in all industries. I mean, if you look in the cooking space, you have Italian, Asian, fusion, whatever you want to call it.
Big time, yeah.
And the reason why people do that is because it makes it more accessible. It's more inclusionary.
Yeah.
And that inclusion pays off.
Yeah.
So where did that idea come from? Like,
bro,
tell us about that.
I think, I think, so it's crazy because, you know, with piano locally, there's a piano from the hood. You can hear it, you can feel it. This is like somewhere. This comes from Dobsonville somewhere. I'm telling you, like some kid in the back room there just made that, and that's beautiful. That's authentic. That's raw. What I felt, because I've been making music apart from piano, all the skills I learned in hip hop, all the skills I learned in R&B, and what kind of showed, or rather worked in my opinion, once I got $10 to go buy myself MacD's. Once I saw that check coming from DistroKid, it was the songs that touched on different cultures. Because the truth is, guys, look, piano is ours. It is ours. It'll forever be ours. I don't even know why we should fight with other countries to, there's a reason why, Americans love piano. It's not because they heard a Nigerian piano song. No, it's the authenticity of that kid in the back room in Dobsonville or wherever that made that song. It hit them different. What I did was I want to hit them so hard that I add that element, because again, this is us. It's our people. It's our culture. But I'm like, if I take it to Mexico,
what does that look like?
Bro,
yeah.
If they have this amount of love for us at this level, and I take it, I translate it. It's translation. It's translating it to them. It's like, look, this is how it speaks. Because I feel like music speaks. This is how piano speaks. It speaks from the guy in the East Rand, in Katleho or wherever, and make this type of song. But imagine if I spoke the way y'all spoke. I make the music that how you guys perceive it and how you guys hear it. And I add it with that. That's out of here.
That's the difference between an abundance versus a scarcity mindset. Because the scarcity mindset says, this is mine, it belongs to me.
Yeah.
The abundance mindset says, I have something so valuable, so special, that I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
And the moment you share it, all those people who receive pay back. Whether it be liking, whether it be buying an album, whether it be booking you,
big time,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
The reason why those people will pay it back is because you first gave. And that's the circle of the economy. You cannot receive unless you are able to give. And what I'm hearing you say is you took something that we have here that is valuable, that people relate to, and you amplified that for people by translating it into something that they understand. And now you are receiving.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing. And it's a circle.
Yeah.
We always talk about this circle. And I think in South Africa, especially as young people, we don't know about this code of doing things. So we speak about this a lot on the podcast. You watched the one with Talefani. That's what we were speaking on.
Yeah.
So it's so dope to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that people out here that are listening to this can learn from the lessons that you have gone through. And, you know, we've all gone through a lot of challenges, and we have a lot of challenges here, but every challenge is an opportunity. There's an opportunity behind it. It's just a matter of your mindset. And just speaking to you, bro, like you've literally transferred that energy to me and revitalized me. So like, thank you for doing that. Before we wrap up though, if you could collaborate with one artist, living or dead, who would it be?
Living or dead? In no order.
Shakespeare.
Big time. What?
Actually.
I mean, look, as much as he was a creative in different aspects, but I feel like yeah, Shakespeare, obviously. Like I might just put him in the studio.
Imagine that, bro. I'd be so curious.
You know, just have him say something on the mic there or do something, you know. But Michael Jackson is one of them.
Okay.
Michael Jackson, R.I.P. the King. Bro. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Dead or Alive, Dre, Dr. Dre, because I grew up on Dre, and he put in so many tools within me. Russ,
okay,
I love his mind. I think the way I create and the way I think come together because of him. I read his book, It's All in Your Head, which made me unlock the fearlessness and me wanting to put out music as much as I would fail doing it, never lose enthusiasm doing it. So shout out Russ. There's a lot, bro.
Yo, dude, making choices out of faith rather than fear. Like, mindset shift.
Yeah, like it just, you know what it does? It almost makes you unstoppable because you have not that you have, yes, you have nothing to lose, but it's almost like there's nothing that can stop you from getting what you want. Not fear, not you losing enthusiasm. You have all the equipment you have to go crazy, to go up. Because a lot of people nowadays, because everybody thinks that everybody's watching their every move based on the type of internet we have right now and how social media is put out. People are so scared to have their own opinions. People are so scared to make the music they want to make without them getting cooked or dragged or whatever the case is. The minute you let go of all that shit, you are unstoppable. It don't matter who says what. I remember one time on Twitter, they were like, yo, every time I drag you, bro, you keep doing more. Like you keep getting, it's Disney Plus, it's this, it's that. It's like, well, yeah, because I've got nothing to lose and I used your hate as a tool to fuel me and to just keep going. The fact that you were the one to say this about me and I come 12 years deep. It's so crazy. It's such a mirror effect because when I was 12, I was getting bullied anyway.
Yeah.
So now me getting cooked over the thing that made me get away from reacting like that when I was 12, it's like, bro, like you're just putting the icing on the cake. You are showing me how much this is real and how full circle it is to me personally. But it's also like, you know what, bro, like no matter what you say about me, you can never stop that fuel. You can never stop what is meant to be.
No matter what your circumstance is, you can't control that, but you can control how you respond to it.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
What is the most surprising artist or genre that's inspired your music?
The most surprising?
Surprising. And that's a tough thing to beat because we just spoke about Shakespeare.
Yeah. The most, repeat that question for me.
Who or what is
Okay.
the most inspiring artist or genre
Artist or genre?
to your music? Yeah, that inspired your music. Someone that we would never have guessed that Sushi B listens to.
People are gonna judge me. Yeah.
Spill the tea, bro.
Bro, that inspired my music.
Yeah.
You could never really box me, can you?
Yo, while you think about it, guys, I tried to convince Sushi to use chopsticks to hold his mic, but he wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I like talking with my hands.
You want to use your
but
hands?
it was on
the vision
brand.
was there. I just had to drop that here just so people know. If you come on our podcast, we're going to treat you right.
Here they are.
There we go.
We planned that we're going to put this mic over here and I was going to talk with the chopsticks. Very on brand, by the way.
We'll save it for part 2.
I'm telling you, we'll be back with them. But to answer your question, Frank Sinatra.
Wild.
Frank Sinatra, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Bee Gees. Oh, I don't want to jump too much. I'm gonna just keep those on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bet. Last song. Last question.
Oh, yeah?
Last question. So, out of all of your tracks,
Yeah.
if you had to choose one to listen to for 24 hours, which one would it be?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Sunday service. Sunday service, I feel, is the most beautiful. It speaks to me, man. Like Sunday service really speaks to me. I'll listen to that every day, nonstop. Not even 24 hours, nonstop. Sunday service is just insane. It's just insane, I think.
Bro, I feel like the name of that song is perfect.
Yeah.
Because whenever I go to a Sunday service,
yes,
I just feel like I've just ended off the week on a perfect note and I'm starting off the new week on a perfect note.
Can I tell you something about that song?
Yeah.
I made that song, you won't believe it. I made it Saturday evening to Sunday early morning when we had that earthquake.
Mad.
Yeah. I was making it. I remember I was fixing up by the time the earthquake hit, like there was a little tremble. I was on the saxophone part, and that's the most beautiful part. So when the earthquake hit, 2 things happened to me. I was obviously afraid. My parents come and they're like, yo, we gotta pray now. Like it's the end. We gotta, I'm like, yo, chill out. Like I had this level of peace, but I was also afraid, like, yo, what if they rise?
Yeah.
Let me put it out as soon as I can. As soon as it's done, let me just put it out. That's why I always say to people, yo, put out that song that's been sitting on your laptop for like 6 months. You may not even, and the thing is, when you put out a song, I know we might be going over time, but when you put out a song later after you had created it, you're no longer enthusiastic about it. I want to live a life where there's nothing on my laptop. Everything is out into the world. My soul is pure because I have lived every moment of my creations. I've lived it out. I've put out everything I had to put from my hard drive, wherever. Because Russ says this, putting out a song later after you had created it is the same as you being late to your own party. That's what it feels like. You never want to be late to your own party. And when you put out music, that's a celebration. That's like, yo, you created this masterpiece. How, people may say what they want to say about it, but the fact that you took that step and you put it out, that's a celebration.
Divine.
Thank you so much for watching this latest episode of the C.Cast. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to achieve a huge mission and we need you to invest in it. The best way to do that is by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and leaving a comment down below. By doing that, you help the algorithm understand that we are offering content that is valuable and it will reach more people. There might also be someone out there that just wants to learn a lesson or who might be able to take something away from the podcast. Share it with them. And lastly, if you'd like to be more involved in the community, if you want access to opportunities, knowledge from our experience in the digital marketing space, or to connect with other people who are like-minded and uplifting the continent, starting businesses and using tech and creativity to make them successful, join the WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code and we'll chat with you there. Until then, bye.